Oh my
Monsooning up
goodness.
there?
What was it?
Monsooning up there?
It's coming. It's coming tomorrow, man.
Yeah, so you guys got dangerous rain. Let me get in my room. Dangerous rain and whatnot.
Yeah, and I of course like a complete jerk, I took off tomorrow, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna go trout fishing, go hit up my favorite little brook trout stream. And it goes, yeah, that's not gonna happen tomorrow.
Oh, I could have told you that.
I was like, oh man, I don't
How
know.
many vacation days do you get a year?
A lot. A lot.
6 weeks?
Something like that, yeah.
You have to work all summer too, don't you?
I do, and I get all beat up, and yeah, I've do some work here and there as needed. Getting harassed. That's about his former jobs. We were talking about this the other day about kind of the work-life balance, right? And loving the outdoors and trying to do things outside is incredibly difficult when you have a full-time job. It's even more difficult when you work for someone who doesn't care about you. And I used to have this boss who was on my way down to Florida to visit Grandpa after Grandma passed away. And my boss calls me as I'm boarding the flight, and she knew I was on bereavement leave. Calls me up and goes, I need you to do a report for me. I'm like, I'm hopping on an airplane in like 10 minutes. She goes, I need you to do this now. I need this report. And I said, I'm on bereavement leave. Like, hey, man.
Did you do the report?
So I said, always in a negotiator, I was like, all right, I'm going to do this report, but I'm going to keep the bereavement days and I'm going to use them another time.
Oh,
so she said, yeah. So I went to Florida for like a week and
for free, huh?
Didn't take any of my days. Yeah.
That is quite the negotiation.
That is a negotiation, right?
That's a very good negotiation.
But could you imagine the audacity? Like, imagine being the person that asks one of your employees who's on bereavement leave, be like, hey, look, I know someone that you love and whatever is dead, passed away. But I really need those reports. It's like something out of Office Space, the movie, right? It's beautiful watching you eat and drink. You know that, right? You're on mute just in case you're talking.
I took it off mute because I'm not eating now.
Oh, okay. So yeah, man, we're gonna. Is your mom singing?
You can hear that.
So
it's a rainy day.
Still flabbergasted for a moment here. I'm, for those of you who follow us and have been listening for, over a year now, congratulations. Every time you go down there, I say to take your bass rod and go ocean fishing. And you recently took me up on that. And, I told you about just kind of cleaning the reel and the rod and everything like that. And you've been killing it. Absolutely killing it down there. And, we've been chatting about it, about the fish you've been catching. And but I've always been joking about you taking your bass rod and catching a shark. And lo and behold, if you follow us on the socials, you saw Joe's post and my repost of Joey catching a bonnet head hammerhead shark on his bass rod.
That happened. First off, I don't suggest fishing in saltwater with your bass rods because it's a pain in the butt when it comes to cleaning your reels. Any sand gets in there. Boy, oh boy. Pretty much, we'd be cleaning for days to find where that piece of sand is in there. Saltwater is no good for it. But yes, I caught a shark. 3.5 foot, 4 foot in that range. Bonnet head, which you're allowed to keep one a day. Which my buddy's now kicking himself in the butt for not keeping it, but it was caught on a bass rod with 12-pound fluorocarbon Sunline FC Snipe. And yeah, it was about 25 minute fight. up and down the beach. Probably walked about a half a mile, going up one way, down the other way, and brought it in and caught a shark on a bass rod, Michael. So
Uh,
I'm the big winner.
you are the big winner. Brian and I always say this thing. It's kings to you, right? And
Yeah.
kings to you, Joseph, because that's I've. It's one of those things that like you want to happen because it's such a great story. But you're sending me the video, and you did exactly what I did, which was like, I'm not touching it.
I touched it. I don't want that thing. I don't want to touch
No,
it,
you didn't want
but
to
I
take
had
the
to
hook out
touch
of
it.
its mouth. Yeah.
No, I wanted to take the hook out of the mouth because the other guy was having a hard time. But
Yeah.
in the
That
one
poor
video,
thing.
you could see he was thrashing around and definitely trying to bite. I can't say I don't blame him. I'm kind of amazed. You see him 12-pound fluorocarbon. Um, when he bit, literally the squid hit the water. It was squid, which is weird because we were using live bait all day. The squid hit the water and the reel went, "Meow." And that was all she wrote. And I knew then it was a shark, not a. I kind of knew it was a shark right away because when you would reel, you would see all the. When you would finally get to move the fish, or the fish would move, you would see all the bait fish fleeing and jumping out of the water like crazy. And so that was kind of the dead giveaway. And then when I saw I guess there's a dorsal fin coming up, that was the other good giveaway. But that really didn't happen until later in the catch when you finally got to see it come up with its tail up. And at first I thought it was a thresher shark because the tail looked like a thresher shark tail, but it was not. It was a bonnet head. And for all you people who eat scallops, 99% sure that's what you're eating when you eat scallops is bonnet head shark. So people want to know if they taste good. If you like scallops, you like shark. So you were right, Michael, when you were saying scallop. That's why they call them that, because
Yeah,
they put
I,
those in with scallops.
I knew that. Yeah, they're beautiful creatures, man. And the karma aspect of my life, I kind of like think I love the idea of shark fishing, right, for the size, but I can't do it. I don't know,
Don't
not
want to
on
get ate
purpose.
by one.
Don't want to get ate by one of these days, man.
Well, all you do is just grab it behind the gills and just then hold it. But
Yeah,
they're strong little things. Their skin feels pretty good. They smell like pee. They pee through their skin. It's like a
so you
different type. It's like a.
so you got
It's hard to
peed
explain.
on. You got peed on by a shark.
They pee through their skin, so I don't know I don't think it actually comes out with pee, but they excrete their waste through their skin, and it's got like this urea smell. They say, and that's why they soak them in buttermilk before you eat them.
Let's be honest for a moment. You can soak anything in buttermilk and fry it, and everything on the planet is probably delicious, with a few exceptions, I'm
Well,
sure.
if you ever go to Red Lobster and eat their scallops and you think they're pretty delicious,
You probably ate a bonnet head.
you probably ate a bonnet. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, isn't that funny? I was laughing so hard when you did it. Then I was like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "You got to come see this. Come in here." I was editing a video that I'm trying to post next week, from what we'll talk about in a moment. But yeah, I was like, "You won't believe what Joe did." She goes, "Haven't you two been talking about this for like a year?" And I said, "Yeah, literally a freaking year. We've been talking about Joe catching one." And lo and behold, here he is. Here's the video of the little sharky shark trying to bite Joe's friend's hand.
Yeah, they're not. He wasn't happy. They're hardy though. I mean, the hook was so small. It was a number 2 circle hook, so small hook. They're very hardy. It didn't hurt it at all. I mean, he went right back in the water and swam off. No issues. Lots
Did
of
you have to
teeth.
walk in and kind of sway it back? No,
Nope. Just carried
good.
it, sat it down, and he whipped around trying to bite her toes off, and then swam away.
Now, obviously we don't recommend you, here in New Jersey at least, catching target sharks. There are some legalities when it comes to that, and I'll let you talk to your legal advisors on that.
Yeah,
But
is that true that it's illegal?
I don't know. I gotta double check. I know for a fact that people who've posted videos of them catching sharks on the beach and having them out of the water and taking photos with them have had visits from Fish and Wildlife.
Oh wow.
So you can target sharks, I think, in federal waters. I don't know about sharks are very endangered, man. Not down by you, but up here, there's not as many as you'd like. I was out on the boat this weekend, and with Captain Joe Mattiola, Fish NYC, shout out. And I was talking about the Raritan Bay, and I said, "You see a lot of sharks in here?" And he goes, Mike, he's like, no one I know has ever caught one besides a dogfish, and I don't think anyone's seen them here because we see everything else.
Down here. They're thick down here.
Well, it's like Florida, right? Like you can't throw a stone without hitting 3 sharks in Florida, which is why I don't go swimming in Florida.
Well, I would say this summer, this fall has been pretty close to that. There's a guy out the other day with goggles, and he said there was a 5-foot blacktip.
Wow.
And a hammerhead right there.
Wow, really? Well, so going back, so I was saying that while I wouldn't necessarily recommend it if you're in New Jersey, if you're in a state that allows for shark fishing, and if you were so inclined in Myrtle Beach to catch a hammerhead, what did you look for that made you catch the shark? I mean, you kind of knew what you were getting into because you were targeting specific species of fish, and you were looking at certain things, right?
Well, yes. Well, A, there's so much mullet here, you literally can walk on it. You can throw casting out and get about 60 mullet. But B, Brennan always says, and he always say, we go down to the washout in Valley Beach, that they shrimp down here. There's shrimp boats all the time. And when the shrimp boats come close, they bring the hammerheads with them because they follow around and just eat the chum or eat the old shrimp. So literally about 10 minutes before I caught that, I was telling my buddy about this one guy I know who seemed to believe that a hammerhead would not bite you because his mouth was on the bottom. And I even pointed out the shrimp boats were here because the shrimp boats actually came in close, which they usually don't do right here. And that's why I made that comment. And I made the same comment that when the shrimp boats are close, the hammerheads are close. And lo and behold, within 5 minutes, that bonnethead was caught. And it was a fun catch. But like I said, it was like 25-minute fight. Yeah, probably about 25 minutes. No lie. You would think it would tire up. Like I had to walk up, down the coast, and it would tire out. And it would just be like just outside the first breaker that breaks on the beach, and you'd see the dorsal fin, and then you let them go and take off again.
Wow. But so you've been having pretty good luck down there, right? You've caught everything under the sun that I can think of, right? You've caught pompano. What'd you catch? Spanish mackerel.
Juvenile Spanish mackerel, flounder, whiting. People eat whiting down here. It's really good. Blue fins. Buddy caught a small redfish the other day. But the Spanish mackerel and the reds are running. You can see the Spanish mackerel like crazy in the blues. Yesterday, a feeding frenzy of Spanish mackerel came through that lasted probably about 5-10 minutes. It was just a continuous line of Spanish mackerel. Just I've seen, I guess it's the Dorado busting out off the shore, big Dorado, out past where we can cast. So I mean, busting like 5-6 feet out of the water. Yesterday, I swear I saw some type of sailfish. It had like the long pointy nose like a marlin. That thing literally busted like 6-7 feet out of the water at full speed. Like there's just so much. It's literally so much bait. I'm not exaggerating when I say you can take a cast net and you can throw it a pile of mullet and get a whole bucket through in one cast nest. That's how much bait's down here.
When I was out this weekend in the Raritan, and you're even in the back bay, right, where the Kills is in Staten Island, you just could walk across the bunker, right? It was amazing. And I think I talked about this a little bit when I went on that party boat in the Raritan River, Raritan Bay rather, cruising along, and you just see these like massive, like millions of bunker, Manhattan, whatever you want to say, Manhattan, everywhere. And you just are like, holy cow, the abundance of life is just unfreaking believable, and it's awesome to see. It's also kind of disheartening because if it's not always like this, what is the cyclical nature of everything? Are we impacting it, right? Are they only coming back because there weren't as many boats last year because of COVID? New York had some pretty strict rules when it came to COVID, right? And boating.
Well, I found out the mullets. Oh, there's always a ton of mullet down here. You can go down to Cherry Grove to the bridge, and there's so much mullet. It's unbelievable all year long. The water temperature is a little warmer, so I guess they're closer. The water's still like 74 degrees.
Wow.
It's every bit. Like yesterday, I think it was like 68. It was a cooler day. It was pretty cool. And the water temperature was probably almost 10 degrees warmer. So if you were standing in the water, you were warm. Out of the water, it was pretty cold.
Wow.
It's usually pretty warm down here. You can always see the mullet just a little bit further past the breaker. But right now, it's really close. I mean, to the point where it's almost crashing on the shore. But when you go back, we go back to this bridge to catch it, so we don't have to go out on the shore. And every year they say it's there in such abundance. Yesterday we drove down there, and one cast, we had about 40 of them. That was it. And there's this, we have a video of it, the school of Spanish mackerel, baby Spanish mackerel. It was millions thick. So,
wow.
I don't know. They do a good job down here protecting. And there's a lot of sea life. The water's still warm down here, so I guess it always is. I'm guessing that's why the mullet's still so close, and the reds are running. They had a 24-hour surf fishing competition yesterday in Hatteras. Or I don't know if it was yesterday, but a couple of days ago, where biggest redfish, and it was a 24 hours, started like at 8 p.m. and went to 8 p.m. the next night on the beach. I probably would have done that. Some old timer was telling me about it.
That would have been real cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's warm. It's warm down here. When that sun comes up, it is warm. Today we're getting that rain that y'all supposed to get tomorrow. But we're not getting as heavy. It's just been cloudy and overcast. And I tried to go out with my rain gear, and I threw a 6-ounce egg sinker, and it was just too much current on a Carolina rig, just way too much current. So I guess they call it the Carolina rig because everybody uses it down here.
You know, I follow the striped bass forum, right? Striper Online or whatever it's called, and even the group on Facebook. And these guys were out during that nor'easter we had, I don't know, a couple of days ago now, and catching like 48-inch striped bass. It's like, how do you even? I mean, it was windy. We had flash floods. Like, work got canceled. Like they canceled work because you couldn't get anywhere. Yeah, like it was a bad storm, man. Like not as bad as the one we had a few months ago, but like it was a lot of rain. And I get it. The fish don't care because they're wet. But in my opinion, I would assume that the pressure system would annoy them where they wouldn't want to be biting. But who knows, man? Like they do what they do.
Well, bass, if it's just raining, they'll turn on and go nuts and eat.
Yeah.
The thunder will, some people say the thunder scares them off. Some people say it doesn't. But I know when it's raining, you can catch a lot of bass.
We had thunderstorms. That's, oh, geez. You right over there?
Yeah. Well, those stripers don't care. They're migrating. I think they just go and they just eat. I think that's how I caught that shark. It was just eating. Literally, when I say that squid hit the water, it was like, as soon as it hit the water. I felt the tug. I slammed the hook, and it ran like crazy.
It's kind of like when Donna caught her first striped bass this week.
Yeah. That was your first?
First cast, she had one on and lost it. Second cast, she gets one on, and she's like, she threw it out there, hit the water, and thing just started running. I was like, yeah, baby, yeah.
What kind of bait were you guys using? Eel?
I was fly fishing, and I was using a half and half fly, and then she was using, I think then she was using like a mustad hook, like what's they called, like the swim head, like weighted swim heads, and then a massive shad, like pearl, like a shad, like paddle tail. Yeah. And I mean, the thing was so big, I would never thought that this I think the fish was about 26 inches, give or take, the first one that she caught, which is nice size, schoolie, if you will. I mean, this bait was everything of 6 inches, and that striped bass just annihilated it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, bass hit 8-inch swim baits all the time. I told you the story when we were out in the bay fishing for rockfish. This is years ago, right when Brendan moved back from California. So we're talking a long time ago. I think he's been down here like 6-7 years now. He had one of those Huddleston swimmers, which is a real expensive swim bait, a hard body swim bait, and that thing is probably 12 inches. And he would throw it out there at the pilings of the Bay Bridge and just reel it back. And little teeny baby rockfish, I'm talking like 10 inches, were getting on the treble hooks. They're aggressive. Bass are very aggressive fish.
100%, 100 freaking percent. It was awesome. I guess we'll keep this all in one episode. I'm okay with that, and just continue, and we'll record again next week, which is
well.
Cool with
the shark thing's not necessarily done yet because my two buddies are still down until Monday. There's still a chance. Hopefully tomorrow passes off a little bit. And I'm pretty sure I had another one on before on my other bass rod. I set that hook so hard I didn't have the drag set.
You were telling me
shark. It had to be a shark because it snapped back and whacked my ribs and whacked my hand.
Do us a favor and try and record it.
Kind of tough.
Have one of your buddies.
There is video floating around though. I found out. Some guy told me. I'm going to try to get him to send it to me.
Cool. Yeah. I'd love to see it because obviously I saw the pictures and I saw the video after you caught it, but I would love to see the fight.
He said he posted the fight and catch online. It's got tons of views.
No
I'll have to
way.
ask him where it's at. Yeah. It was a long fight. But I'm telling you, I was walking quarter mile up and down the beach back and forth. That's probably longer than a quarter mile, the first walk up.
Wow.
You can't turn it. I was on a bass rod. It's not like I can turn a 3.5, 4 foot shark over on a medium heavy pal, 7'2" with a Daiwa SVT, bait caster on there. It's not like I can turn a shark, but
no, but you did it. You did it right though, right? Like, and that's I was telling the captain Joe Mattioli. I was like, or Mattioli. I said, I was like, he's like, oh, do you have a fly rod if you want to bring your own? And I said, well, I have one, but I've got, I don't know if we're monster hunting. I don't know if I want to catch a 48-inch, 50-inch striped bass on my 6-weight. And he goes, oh, yeah, you're right. He goes, but for the schoolies, a 7-weight or 8-weight would probably be perfect. And I said, yeah. And I said, well, he's like, well, what would you predominantly use your 6-weight for? And I said, caught the biggest fish. I'd say probably a northern pike. And he go, you caught a pike on your 6-weight with your bat and kill reel? And I said, yeah. I said, you got to learn how to play the fish, man. And I mean, you feel it. Like, you just don't muscle it and you let them kind of do their thing and you slowly but surely get them in. It's the way that it works. So you can catch some massive fish. Yeah.
If your drag set right, you don't have to worry. I mean, I've caught a 9-pound bass on 6-pound leader. As long as your drag's right, and I just caught how much a 3.5, 4-pound shark weighs on 12-pound test. So.
Right. It's
not as heavy as you would think a 3 or 4-pound shark would weigh, but it was 20 pounds plus, I would say.
Right. It was a nice size fish. And if you haven't seen it, everyone go on Joe's, you have it on your Instagram page, right? Not on your story.
It's on my page.
Yawning boy over here, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry.
Oh, you have such a rough life. You've been shark fishing and lounging and walking your dog.
It's the clouds. It's the clouds.
Yeah. And your video's off now, so.
Oh, the video went off? Oh, I hate. Sorry, I'm not on my computer. I wish I could share with this, but I don't think I can share content. I could share a picture of the shark, but only the host can share in this meeting.
Oh, hold on, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I still haven't got a laptop.
Sleeping behind the wheel. Yeah, there you go. I just shared the ability for you to share.
Michael's always worries what pops up on my.
I get worried on everyone's screen. I was dealing with something technical the other day, and I said, before you share your screen, make sure.
There, you see it?
Yeah, baby. Look at that beauty.
I mean, it's I can't really see the teeth, but There's a
No, you
ton
see
of
'em.
teeth in there. Oh no. Doesn't do it justice. Um, the teeth are insane. Like the way you say rows and rows and rows. And that thing, I mean, his mouth, it looks, I wish I got a better picture of the backside. Let me see. Um, rows and rows and rows and rows and rows and rows of teeth. You can see it here snapping. Let's see. Oh, I guess I can't share that.
Doesn't like videos,
Yeah,
I don't think.
that doesn't like videos.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Michael will share the video, but when it was snapping, you can see the top of it is real pretty, but the bottom looks just like a ray. It's all white.
yeah.
The eyes are on the side of its head. The eyes are cool, and its head
They're
looked like an anchor. Is the
like
best
I
way to
said, they're
describe it.
beautiful creatures, man. It's
I was surprised how smooth the skin was.
well, you always hear, right, that they're these like, oh, don't touch it because you're gonna cut yourself. They've got scales and blah blah blah. It's like
Well, when
when
you
I
go
when
like
I
the opposite way, it feels like sand. Kind
yeah,
of.
that's why they say don't go the opposite way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When you grab it from the top, it's like it can't even describe the feeling. Almost like rubbery.
Hmm.
Quite interesting.
I'll keep my mouth shut on that one.
We'll segue, huh?
We'll
I heard
segue.
you called some rocky fish, or as y'all say, striped bass.
So
Did
he's going to come on. So Captain Joe Fish NYC said that he would come on. Had a fantastic time. This is my first charter that I've ever done in New Jersey. The first charter I've ever done was down in Isla Morada, and Joe is a licensed, or I should say, Orvis
captain?
guide captain. He's a licensed captain, but he's like one of the only Orvis guides saltwater in the New York tri-state area. He's got a nice 30-foot center console. Freaking gorgeous boat, man. And he does this. So he has an Instagram page. I'll link to the story in this one, and when we have him on, we'll do it again. But I found him by listening to the Orvis podcast, and he was talking about fly fishing for striped bass, and I was like, oh man, Brian and I have been talking about this for years, right? Would love to do fly fishing for striped bass. So I was like, this is a perfect opportunity because I want to buy a 10 weight so I can do some short casting. And this was a nice kind of introduction to it. Is this something that I want to do? This is a big commitment because fly rods are expensive, fly line's expensive, the fly reel's expensive, not to mention, the ancillary things like the basket to put the line in as you're casting and whatnot. So, this is something that I really want to get involved in. So I called him a couple months ago and I said, hey, Captain Joe, heard you on Orvis podcast with Tom Rosenbauer. Love to come on your boat. I'm looking for a good time to come. I know obviously that they're running in October, November, maybe a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit later. What dates can I get you on the schedule? So he's like, well, we're still kind of fishing for albies now. So false albacore were around earlier this month, earlier in October. And he's like, if the striped bass aren't going around, we'll probably just wind up chasing down albies if that's okay. They're fun to catch. There's bluefish that'll be around. There's all sorts of fish you can catch. And I said, yeah, I just honestly want to do saltwater fly fishing. I asked around and see if anyone wanted to come with me, and no one wanted to come. Could you imagine that? Yeah, well,
catch striped bass, but yes, I can imagine that. I can't. Not especially for rock stripes.
Yeah, you said yeah, and I get it. It's not cheap, right? But you're going out for 8 hours on a boat, burning gas. Everything's included. I mean, this guy takes care of you, right? You're paying for it. He's an Orvis master freaking guide. That's a big deal. So I said, okay, guys, I'm going to book it because if I wait for everybody, it's never going to happen. So let's book it. So I booked it. Everyone's like, no, I can't go. So I'm like, all right. So I say, I'll go by myself. I'm okay with it, right? It's fine. I'll go by myself. Donna's like, I don't want you to go by yourself. I'll go. I want to catch a striped bass. I'm like, yeah, that's a good wife right there. Right?
That's a very good wife.
Come on now. Come on now, people.
Good wife.
Great wife. So
Yeah.
I'm like, you sure? So yeah, so we were going to do a 4 hour striped bass trip, and he calls me like a couple days before, and he's like, look, he's like, really not around in numbers to striped bass. Minimum that I would recommend is 6 hours. I would really recommend you do an 8 hour trip. And I was like, I am not going on a boat fishing for 8 hours, but I will go for 6 hours. And I said, okay, cool. So we were scheduled to go, 2-3 weeks ago, and we got hit by a gnarly storm. I think we talked about it on here, and the wind was just so nasty. The day before, he's like, Mike, what was that? You
Detectors.
you got to evacuate over there. No, or
I'll just mute. There you go.
all right. Never a dull moment, man. So we had to cancel. I was a little disappointed because he said that they were catching massive false albacore everywhere, right? They were catching some pretty big bass, but not in numbers. And I, yeah, it was a little disappointed. So he rescheduled. He said, he had some openings last weekend. If we wanted to do it last weekend or this weekend, whatever worked for us. So my date was either Sunday or it was going to be this upcoming weekend, which of course I didn't want to do because it's Donna's birthday weekend. I'm intrigued right now, and I'm gonna try and define to you what was just being seen by me because I was on speaker view here. Joe's wandering around the apartment because the smoke alarm's going off, and he's creeping around, kind of looking around to see if his entire family has left the building. You okay?
I'm a sole survivor. We're good. We're good.
All right, good. Just wanted to make sure there. So we went, and we had to get to Staten Island. We left Staten Island. We got to the marina about 6 a.m., 6:15. We were on the boat by about 6:30, 6:45. False sunset started happening, and being as first bite in the marina there, or right there in the kill, started about 7 on a dot, just like he said. We got a chance to kind of, wet our whistles a little bit on striped bass fishing, right? First time for me catching anything on a fly rod in the saltwater. Heavy weighted rods. I'm used to fly fishing with a 6-weight. I was using a 9-weight with intermediate sink, and it's a heavy line compared to what I'm used to casting. So needed to get my motions down, needed to kind of get my timing down with casting, and wanted Donna to get comfortable in, just casting in general. She was using the spin rod with, like I said, the swim bait. Second cast in, she catches one, then she catches another. I catch one with shoulders. We're off 2 for 2, right? And the bite is crazy. Like, it's just, you see these bass hitting the surface because there's all these like tiny little bait fish everywhere, and the birds are flying all over. The sunrise rather, is just absolutely stunning. All sorts of colors, and there you are. You feel almost like you're in New England, in this little harbor there in Staten Island, New York. Imagine that, right? So
we're chasing
birds, right? And that's a big part of saltwater fishing. Is you're always looking for the birds. So we're zipping across this harbor, zipping back, and following the birds back and forth. And finally, the bite just turned off, and he's like, "Okay, it's time to go, trophy hunting. Let's go out into the bay." So we make the trip around into the bay, and he's like, "All right, here's kind of the goal, guys. We're looking for birds again, just like we were. If you see birds congregating in an area, like 10 or more, on the horizon, anywhere, point them out to me, and that's where we're gunning for." When we first pulled out there were really not a lot of boats, and not right where we were, at least at first. And then as you started getting closer to some, I guess they would consider their honey holes or whatever, there were just stacks and stacks of boats. I mean, like within casting distance of each other. And you're like, holy shit, like today's going to suck, because it's a Sunday. Every pleasure boater's out. Everybody's got their boat on the water. There's so much boat traffic. There's not a lot of fish still around because the water's still kind of warm. And they're being chased down by by madmen in boats, right? And you could tell it was slow because they were all on the radios and they were all joking around the entire time. It's like, okay, well, if you have time to be joking around on the CB radio, and this is what Joe said, he goes, yeah, he's like, I'm afraid it's going to be slow. He's like, but at least we got you on some early. He's like, I'll try and get you on some more. So we went like 3 hours without catching another fish, without even getting another bite. We were zipping back and forth around the bay. And anytime you would see like a blitz happen, by the time you would get there, it was over. Like you spooked the fish and the fish were gone. So we did that for about 3 hours, and finally we were like, all right, well, let's go back. He said about 1 o'clock there was another blitz that would happen in the marina. We did that. We wound up, Donna got 5 or 6 striped bass total.
Oh wow!
So we got a couple more blitzes in the bay there, or in the marina rather, and I wound up with 6 or 7 fish, 2 of which were beautiful weak fish, man. So the gorgeous sea trout.
Oh yeah, they were really pretty.
Yeah, they look just like brown trout. And he's like, who would have thought you would come into the ocean and catch trout, which is what I normally catch when we go trout fishing, right?
Yeah.
Like you're up in the mountains. So really cool creatures, really cool to see.
Sharp teeth.
Sharp freaking teeth, man. Sharp teeth. But you know, you kind of have those coulda, woulda, shouldas. Like I love catching striped bass. I think that it was so awesome. I definitely want to catch more. I can't wait to go on another charter with Joe. You know, maybe we can do up to 4 people on it. I think that would be great. I think Donna's had her fill. She said she would like to do it maybe under warm weather because it was freaking bipolar as heck on Sunday. It was like drizzling.
Cold and warm. Oh.
It was cold, then warm, then drizzling, then like sunny, then it was all the sun went away and it was cloudy, and you'd like layer and then unlayer and then layer and then unlayer, and it was a lot. So, you know, she's like, you know, let's maybe go in the summer, early summer, right? Like
where she could be warm.
Right. Hang out on a boat, you know, not you know, lessons learned for me were definitely fly casting a heavy rod with heavy line. You know, take your time, not so many false casts. You know, the retrieve is everything. You know, I do this sometimes when I do bass fishing, right? I put the rod under my arm here and I strip with my hands, so that way I have this hand free a little bit to kind of control the line a little bit more and get a little bit more motion. But you know, when I was fly fishing with him, you know, he recommended Joe to hold the line like this. You know, I have the 3 fingers holding the line here, and I'm stripping back like this, but just short, quick. You know, definitely try different tempos. I found the tempos that he said to use were absolutely perfect. You know, they worked, but you know, I do this thing when I do pike fishing, and it would kind of flip my wrist a little bit, so it kind of makes your fly kind of go like this,
make it jump. Yeah,
and I didn't try that. I would definitely like to. You get in the zone. You know, you'll see some video of that at some point in the near future. But you know, just get in the zone of just casting, and it's very rhythmic and relaxing. And 7 freaking fish. I'll take it.
No keepers though, huh? No fish tacos.
No, I wasn't planning on keeping them, and I honestly, I don't know if I would assume if we wanted to keep one, he would have been okay with it. But you know, I told him originally it was going to be catch, photo, release, and he was cool with that. Now, if I go again and I have my own rod, I'm definitely going to crimp down, you know, the hook a little bit and make sure that, you know, it's just a straight hook. We don't have any kind of barb on it or anything like that. I just find it so much easier. Like, I hate having to fight the fish to try and get it out of its mouth. You know, any way you can kind of expedite the process of getting them back in the water, in my opinion, is a good thing. Yeah.
I get it. Well, sounds like a hell of a trip.
Joe, it was freaking gorgeous, man. And maybe in the springtime when they're running back north, we can do it again. He said, I think he said April, May.
I will have 2 more striper seasons up there. So this will probably be the last one.
Yeah.
We'll have to try for April or May.
Yeah, we should definitely do it, man. It's anyone who's into fishing, get out there on a boat. And I love shore casting. I love the idea of something romantic about being on the water right from the beach and fishing. But when you're on a boat and you can chase down these fish, I mean, it adds
It's
to the
fun.
excitement. Yeah, but you also see the flip side of it, right? Which is so many people have boats, and it gets really crowded up there on that bay.
I've never been to the Raritan Bay, so I don't know how big it is, but I've seen it many times. But
Yeah,
a
it's
lot of
it's big.
people in that area, a lot of money. So I guess there is a lot of boats.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was funny. We saw these boats still in the marina, and I was joking with him. I said, "It's like that's a nice $2 million, $3 million boat." I go, "How often do you think they use it?" He goes, maybe like 2 times a season." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I would use it every weekend if I could." I mean, he went out after we got off the boat like close to 2 or something like that, and he had called his buddy, and he's like, "Let's go back out." He's like, "I'm ready to fish now." I'm like, "Well, hopefully you guys did. Hopefully you guys did all right." He's like, "Yeah, we
I
did."
bet you he did. Did they do okay?
I didn't ask when we were texting each other the other day. He asked for some pictures that we took, and he took some video. It was crazy. We were driving right into a blitz. He turned off the motor and we're just kind of cruising into it, and the seagulls were just crashing into the water, and all the seabirds were crashing into the water in front of us. And he's like, I was so in the zone. I was freaking stripping and casting and doing my thing. And he's like, the seabirds looked like they were about to like take your hat off your head. He goes, they were so close to landing on you or being on top of you. He goes, it was one of the most incredible things I've seen. So he took video or a picture of it. So I asked him to send that to me, and hopefully he does, because I mean, it was cool. It was really cool to see
Can't
all
wait to
this.
see that.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see that.
Yeah. What a great time though, man.
Yeah.
So again, huge shout out, Joe Mattioli, freaking awesome captain, licensed captain out of New York, great state of New York, and Staten Island, and
Staten Island.
definitely pay him a visit. Tell him I said hello.
Definitely. Well, tomorrow I'll continue hunting saltwater fish for you, and I think this weekend I'll be out on Santee Cooper, so
Well,
I'll hunt giant bass.
as I said, I'm on PTO tomorrow, so if you are out there and you want to jump on and Zoom me or whatever, we can take a look at the beach and see how you're doing.
Sunday or Saturday might be a good day too, because like I said, Lake Moultrie, Marion.
Yep. I was saying to Donna, she goes, "You seem so much more relaxed this week," because I got to go fishing. Like, it's been way too long, man, and it's my own fault. Adulting is horrendous, but yeah, you need to get outside and enjoy yourselves, guys, gals, if you're listening to this, and to my sister Catherine, who's listening to this.
It's about to get cold up there.
Yeah, I was busting Catherine's chops. I said, you need to get outside and do some stuff. She's like, "Oh, I need your podcast. I need to hear about your fishing adventures and kind of live vicariously through you." And I was like, "You need to go hiking because it's almost peak fall season."
Almost for her foliage.
Let's go leaf peeping, people. I know you're really into that, so
no leaf peeping for me. Everything's so green and flowers down here.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
If it wasn't dark, I'd go show you a whole bunch of hibiscus and palm trees. But
it's like pitch black dark out right now. I can't believe it.
Let me see. It's not quite pitch dark. It just so.
Here we go. I'm yawning. I'm yawning now, man. Excuse me.
All right, well, it's time to go eat. I gotta put food in my belly. No pasta visual.
No pasta visual. Donna made homemade pasta last night, and then man, mamma mia. I keep asking for the pasta visual, even though I don't like beans, but
I like it. I just say visual. Well,
brajol. You say brajol. Brajol is very similar.
Brajol.
I
think I say visual because I want the brajol. I want the meat.
Ooh. What's the other soup? The not Italian wedding soup. The
can't think of that name.
Oh my gosh, my friend's mother would call. She's like, tell Michael Hacker if he wants. If he wants to stop over, I made some soup. You're on mute, Joe.
I made visual.
I made a
I
pasta
know.
visual. I was like, yeah,
I'm
all right.
sorry.
I'll stop over. I'll have some soup. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to the Hacker Outdoors podcast. This is Michael Hacker, and that's Joey McCormick munching away over there on God knows
I'm
what.
starving.
And
Oh my God, they're so good. Shameless
what-
plug. Ritz toasted chips. So good.
yeah. All right. Well, you heard it here
Sponsor us,
first, ladies and
Ritz.
gentlemen.
Sponsor us.
Yeah, let's go, Ritz. Make
Go,
us
Ritz.
that
Let's
paper.
go.
Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you so much. Joe, have fun. Maybe I'll talk to you tomorrow while you're out there on the beach. And
I'll get you something.
all right, cool.
Later, brother.
Have a good night.
We'll.
Have a great week, guys. Bye.